Charisma. I'm your host, C.P. Lewis. And I just want to talk a little bit about passive voice and filler words. And, the preference to use them. The thing we have as writers and readers and just in general is we all have our opinions. We all have our ways of doing things, what we think works better, what we think doesn't work as well. And that's a beautiful thing about creating anything, whether it's, writing, artwork, paintings, statues, anything. If we build models, it's a lot of ourselves. We put ourselves into it, and it's pretty cool. We all have our different perspectives of seeing something. Like someone will see, will read something or see a painting and think one way and feel one way, and another will something else, and it's cool. And a lot of it actually comes down to how we write. I've said this many times where 95% of what we are told that our writing rules are opinions. That's it. There's someone's opinions. One of those is it comes to passive voice and filler words. And for one, I love passive voice. I love filler words. I love classic literature, so I pick up a lot of my writing skills from that. But it's also just the feel of it. When I write, I don't write to be technical. This must be, taught in universities or it's going to change the world. I write so people can escape. I just write how I feel, what feels right. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'm off. Depending on my mood, that feeling will change. One day I think something sounds great. Next day I think it sounds like trash. Day I think it sounds great again. But it's because I just it sort of feels wrong. Example like passive voice. One would be, I was going to paint that. Okay, it's passive. That to active, say, I will paint that. Okay, sounds the same. Right? You say, I will paint that means, okay, I'm going to paint it. I get that. You say, I was going to paint that. Let's say I was going to paint that, and I'll get to it later. Or if, say, in context, someone else is already painting it, decides to paint it like the house or whatever. So I was going to paint that. So it's there's different context to it. And that's why I think it fits in with what story we're saying. It doesn't have to be necessarily, this or that, but if it fits the story, I was going to paint that, So it depends on what we want to do with it, how we want to convey it. For some, they may not see that. They may just want the active voice and more power to them. Others like me just love the ing words. They're fun. It comes to the filler words like that, just, is another one, which I say a lot. My reason is because I think too fast, because there was actually a study. I kind of took a little bit of offense at it. Not yet, I didn't, but apparently a study where a group of, I forget the number, but people think if you say them, you say them. Yeah, can't speak. If you say or something like that, you're not a good speaker, you're not intelligent, you're not prepared. And I'm not the best speaker because I ramble, but also because this goes a million miles an hour and I talk like I think. So this is going super fast. This is trying to keep up, and this does not do a good job of it. I will flub words. I stumble over words. I'll be in the middle of a word what was I saying? Sometimes I'll be so far ahead of my thinking that I'll be like, wait, what did I want to say? And I have to pause and try to rewind it. You know what I mean? Try to figure out what I was going to say. So, not a lot. And I ramble. Let's have you notice I can ramble the best of them. So it's okay, I understand the concept because I may not want to listen to people except myself. I'll probably listen to myself before, oh my God, what's he doing? Because it's not quick, concise, right to the point with everything. Every time I do that, I feel like I'm missing something. Or I forgot something. And others is okay, it is what it is. I'm not a professional speaker, so I don't rehearse anything. I don't do scripts. If I do scripts, I always wander off scripts. So it's kind of a nice little thing. But again, that's just how I am. And like I said, I did think of this, but I didn't. It's one of those things kind of but it's not that bad. But it's our own strengths and weaknesses. That's a weakness of mine. When it comes to writing, like I said, I also love the filler words like that, just, and my author, I love her. She's awesome. She takes out all my that's. She will highlight every single one of them. And every time I get that, why would you like my that's? That's just wrong. Oh, what did I do to you? Type of thing. But again, she's fine tuning it. There'll be times where she'll highlight, like, you use this word 3 times, like in 2 sentences. I'm like, I did? Okay. Sorry. Oops. Thank you. And it fine tunes it. And that's where the balance comes into. We stay true to ourselves. We want to make sure we write what feels right to us, what works for us. Whether it's using passive voice, not using passive voice, using filler words, not using filler words, even speaking. It's us. It's what's in here is what's coming out, is what we're conveying. Sometimes it's not the best way. And that's when we have editors and people help us fine tune it. There's nothing wrong with using it, but using it a little bit here and there instead of, en masse is a good thing. Like I said, I tend to either use overuse or I underuse. That's not too much of a gray area for whatever reason, that one. But I mean, it's all comes down to our personal preference and what works best for what we're trying to say, how we feel about it, and things like that. It's like, please let me know in the comments below. Do you prefer passive voice and filler words, not using them? Have you found the balance? How do you maintain the balance? Let me know in the comments below. And once again, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you all next time. Have a great one.